Nice, that was nice and quick. Hold on a sec. I do quite like a bit of Carl Jung, you know, smart man, but he was connected to the Freemasons, so is there a little bit of head fuckery going on there? Who knows? I've got another wig coming. It's a bit more wizardy. It's actually from a wizard, like, but you get the beard with it as well. The beard's too much. It's far too much. And in the summer, it probably won't stay on for very long. You know, I'll still waffle. So who's in? Who's in? We've got 3 people watching. Say hello, just because it's a brand new live. Well, it's a brand new live stream on an old. Right, good. Just want to make sure everything's working okay. You know, it's not too bad. It's a little bit wizardy. You know, I'm not going to get my wand out because that will shut the channel down. Right, let me just get a few things sorted out first, because we're going to have a few little teething problems for the first 5 minutes. Not even teething problems. You should go a little bit blue now, Lana. How come you've not gone blue? Bit of blue for dads. Should have gone blue. And I was up against the clock because I was trying to get a few things together, and I was flicking my bean. There you go. You're blue. You're a bit of blue. You're a bit of blue. I was flicking my bean, but not just any old bean. Oh no, the king of the bean. This is prepping related. Bear with me. I only arrived about an hour ago, so it's a bit of a mad one. And yeah, I know that flicking your bean has another meaning. You know, like I said, bit of blue for dads. So if you type into Google the top 5 most nutritious beans in order, do that in Google, and it will come up with the black bean as number 1. It's the dog's bollocks. So I ordered a kilo of these, and these are, I always go on about the 10 by 15s, you know, because they're just, if you live on your own, it's the perfect portion size. So out of a kilo of beans, I managed to get 10. You know, and obviously they're going to double in size when you're cooking them. You soak them overnight, you know. But yeah, I highly recommend that you buy some black beans in. You know, and with beans and stuff, regardless of the date, I use common sense. I know that these are going to last at least until 2030 and beyond, you know. And I've got my pipe. I know that wizards don't wear like lumberjack shirts. Although, you know, who knows? There could be a lumberjack wizard out there that's looking at me going, "You stole my fucking idea, you bastard." And then there's going to be new people coming in now going, saying, "This wizard swears a lot. I didn't know wizards swore." They fucking do. Where are we? Hello, is that Rosa? Well, thank you very much, Rose. That's very kind of you. Very nice. Yeah. Do you like the shine? I wash it in piss. You should try it. Good for you. Cool. We'll have to get some of those. Yeah, honestly, Dave, they're spot on, mate. Please feel free to do your own research. Lagoons are sort of considered to be a bean, and lentils are number 2. Red kidney beans, again, shaped like a kidney, really, really good for the kidneys, believe it or not. They're at number 5. So yeah, anyway, hi Dave, hi Lana, hi Rosa. Yeah, I've got everyone covered. So I've got me pipe. Now I'm a virgin pipe smoker. Never had a pipe before. Didn't want to get a Gandalf one because they were like that. You know, just too much. Couldn't fucking around with that. Now I'll trip over it. Whereas this is just about right. A nuclear war, you say? I do have a really, really funny feeling it's going to kick off this weekend. Is anyone else feeling that? Or is it just me? And historically, when I get that feeling, you know, I trust my gut. I trust my gut. And the only good thing that's going to come out of that is the price of precious metals, and copper is going to go up. I'd rather them stay cheap and have a world that's full of peace. We don't need any more shit. Why are black beans the best? They're simply the best bean in the world. They've got very, 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 very soluble fiber, the most soluble fiber in the world. And they've also got an antioxidant that is extremely powerful. Right, bear with me, because I can't remember off the top of my head, and I want to make sure you're getting the information, you know? I'll do legwork for you. So yeah, and I'll show you the brand that I bought as well. So I did do my research. You can pay through the nose for black beans because they're quality. You know, they are. That's the brand. If you want me to put it up again so you can do a screenshot, let me know and I'll do that for you. List of health benefits from black beans. Black beans are a nutritional powerhouse packed with protein, approximately 15 grams per cup. A dietary fiber, approximately 15 grams per cup. Promoting satiety. Fuck knows what that is. Never heard that word in my life. Good for gut health. That's so important. That's your number one defense, your gut. If you get ill, it's because your gut's not healthy, you know? And the healthiest thing you can ever eat that's head and shoulders above anything you could ever eat for gut health is kimchi. Stable blood sugar. They are rich in antioxidants. This is the one. Anthocyanins. Iron, magnesium, folate, which supports heart health, improve bone density, reduce inflammation, and help lower the risk of chronic diseases. It is the dog's bollocks. I mean, I could read loads and loads more, but I do like people to do their own research because you're learning your own way at your own pace. So yeah, I just bought them off Amazon. Where are we? I'm amassing a good collection of beans. I'm glad you said beans instead of porn. You know, beans are better for you. And lentils this year should be a good one for my prepping. Dave, doesn't it make you feel like you can sleep better at night? Peace of mind, you know, knowing that if it all goes to shit tomorrow, you've got room to breathe. I don't want to dye my hair anymore if it's going to look as shiny and as silvery as that. Might have to purchase that wig. No, just dye it grey and then just wash it in urine. You know, I mean, it's not particularly nice, but you can't smell it. It's fine, you know. Joking aside, vinegar. Vinegar's really, really good for your hair. Lovely, lovely shine. And it helps to reduce the amount of grey that you get. Look into it. I have a niggle. It's going to kick off soon. Yeah, me too, Lana. I think this weekend, I hope I'm wrong. The amount of times I wished I was wrong and hoped I was wrong. You know, who wants to be wrong? Most people just don't want to be wrong. And this is definitely something I really want to be wrong about, because that's the trigger. It's the hair trigger. There's loads and loads of dominoes that have gone down already, right? But the force of all those little dominoes can be powerful enough to knock a big, massive domino down that just smashes all the bigger dominoes down, that smashes even bigger dominoes down. I love my analogies. I think it's definitely going to get fruity in the next 2 weeks. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange is due to pay out millions of ounces of silver to customers due to contracts. Yeah, the COMEX thing, I'm amazed that it's not fallen down way before now. You know, you've got people that have bought loads and loads of silver in principle, just on paper, just pieces of paper. You know, and they'll just get a piece of paper come through the letterbox every now and then saying, yeah, you still own this amount of silver, which is worth this amount at the going rate of spot, right? And none of these twats have ever thought, I wonder if that silver's really there. Because you can have the banks can have, say, 1 ounce of silver and then tell 10 people that they've got an ounce of silver. So 10 people own that ounce of silver, 1 ounce, hoping that none of them are going to want to claim it. Keep it somewhere, keep it secret, keep it safe. And that's what's happening. People are starting to see what's happening, and they're all like, oh, I want my silver now. I want my silver now. You know, something like 90% of claims have got in for their silver now. 90%. There's not enough to cover it. And I've said right from the start, if you don't have it, you don't have it. It's as simple as that. And all the banks will do is just go print some more money onto the screen, which is what they do. The world is run by the bankers, sort of. And then they'll just pay them out. They'll just make up cash out of thin air and then pay these people, the recipients of what they thought was silver, just pay them in cash at spot rate. You know? It's such a rip-off. The banks, you know. Everyone's looking at politicians and world leaders and stuff like that to be lynched. It's the bankers. You know, not one single bastard went to jail for what happened in 2008 and previous fuck ups where people have ended their own lives and stuff like that. They just carried on getting their bonuses. Keeps you fuller longer. The beans, I think, yeah, they do, yeah, and they're just good for you. And again, try and get a variety of as many different types of beans as possible to go with your rice. And then you've got a complete protein, all 9 amino acids. Your body will love you for it. Hello, Jordan. You all right, matey? I don't know why I keep saying it like that. Hello, Jordan. I hope you're doing all right, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I've had the gut feeling that the universe is trying to tell me something. Yeah, I think the more open you are, again, there's going to be people out there like, what the fuck's he talking about? You know, it is something. It isn't. There is something that's inexplicable, something that can't be explained. A gut feeling, a sense, a connection with just knowing, just a knowing. You know, and you can't. There aren't any words for it. There isn't any simple explanation for it. It just is, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And I think that's why I did all those sequential like prep shop videos, just loads all in a row over the space of a month. Because I thought there's something like I said, my first ever prep bucket was put together in June of 2019 before anything happened. And I didn't question it. I just did it. It's at the caravan. I'd never put a prep tub together before, ever. And it's a decent one as well, considering it's my first one. It's unopened. It's all taped off because I know that all the food in there is good to go for another 5-10 years. But yeah, that was June of 2019 and nothing had happened. Life was just moving along at the same pace as it was. I know that obviously loads and loads of shit has always been going on in the background, but we weren't really I wasn't really thinking about any of that. Not really. And then I was working for a company who was making the headrests for fighter jets. And we were sectioned off from the rest of the rugby because it was a very controlled environment. Particle testers, minimal, we had to wear special, yeah. And I can remember having a conversation with this girl in there, and I just stopped. This was before CV19, before all of that, before any of that kicked off. And I just stopped mid-sentence and just said something really bad's coming. Something bad's happening. Something bad's coming. A week later. And then everything just went really, really downhill in life in general after that, but as downhill I went, here I am, no fear. I used it all up. I spent it all. Got none left. Satiety means satisfaction. Oh, right. Feeling satisfied after eating. Oh, that's what Lana meant by keeping you fuller for longer. I didn't know that. I've learned a new word today. Yeah, a new word. Satiety. I like it. I like it a lot. So to any ladies out there that aren't satisfied, because blokes, we're all right. I mean, I'm quite happy with my physique for my age, But there are blokes out there that have got quite a bit of a pot belly, a couple of tits maybe, 7 or 8 chins, and they're all right about it. But women, very, very body conscious, very. So if you're not happy with the way you are, maybe consider getting some black beans in. And again, if there's anything about your life that you're not happy with, ask yourself one question. Have I got any control over that? If the answer is yes, do something about it. Or stop moaning. That's it. That one or that one. Might perhaps give me a feeling of security. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think we can all agree with that. That's a massive element of it. Peace of mind, and the more prepared you are, not just with food, but loads of other elements, you know, your like self-defense or just defense of your home. Being hopefully, you know, if it's applicable to you, being able to harness your own water, so you don't have to rely on a system that relies on electricity that pumps the water into your home, so you can just get it out the tap. You know, if you're completely and totally reliant on a system like that, it's not good. I mean, even if you live in a flat or a masonette and you've not got access to a water bot on the ground in a back garden or something like that, I've got a few ideas up my wizard sleeve. Oh no, not wizard sleeve. Wizard sleeve's terminology for something else. Yeah, lady bits, messy lady bits. Oh, how did I get down? Let's change the subject. In fact, actually, on the subject of water, I've just made another water filtration kit up. I've got 4 now. Only need 1, but I do operate on a 1 is none, 2 is 1, you know, and I always have done. I like to have at least 1 backup, especially when it comes to something as life-saving as water, because it's just so important. Again, you can go 3 weeks without food. You can maybe a little bit longer, but it would be horrible. It would be horrible. Whereas water, you know, people say you can go longer than 3 days, and you can, but you'd be fucked. You'd be fucked, and you could probably do yourself a lot of damage. You know. So I've got 1 in the motorhome that's rotting away on my driveway, and I've got 1 at the caravan as well. I've got 2 here. I mean, I have gone through them, but this is the most recent one. So I've got a ferrous rod there with a striker, with a built-in striker. I've got a multi-tool in there. I've got a torch in there with fresh batteries. I've got a paracord there, which has also got a built-in ferrous rod and a striker. Never trust a button compass ever. If you're going to buy a compass, buy a silver compass. It's not made of silver. It's spelled SYLVA. You get what you pay for. They're the dog's bollocks. I've got 2. So 2 paracord and all the bits and bobs. And then inside, I'm not going to go through it all because I don't want to bore you, and I don't want to fall behind. Let me just make sure I've caught up first. Hello, Sky Girl. You all right? How's it going? Tracy. I'm just terrible with names. Sky Girl, let me know if I fucked up. A bandana. That's to if you're in like, you know. Hey up, Michael. Hold on, let me sort Michael out. Pardon the homosexual tones there. I don't see him like that. I'm not into men with beards or men at all. Where are we doing? Let's get back to the old way. So it's the same as the Rose Hippie Guy channel. There you go, Michael. So you just put that over the top of a container like that, and that'll catch all the little bits of sticks and leaves and mud or anything like that. So that's your first level, and then try and send it through again to catch any more. And I always wanted a camo mini Sawyer. And there she is. So anyone that's not got one of these, if you can afford one, it's literally a lifesaver. Literally. So it'll remove 99.99999% of any like protozoa and E. coli, any bacteria. that can do you some damage. They'll remove, considering they're made of plastic, they claim to remove 100% of microplastics, but they don't remove chemicals. But for what they are, and considering that they can clean trying to remember the exact amount. I think it's something like 200,000 gallons. And considering that there are around 4 litres to a gallon, just to put things into perspective, if you work in gallons or litres, 200,000 gallons of water. They're about 15, 20 quid. So you can use them as a life straw. You can you can't really make it out. Just research Sawyer Mini. If you've not got one, please buy one. If you can't afford one, if you genuinely can't afford one, then email me. We'll see if we can sort something out for you, because they're essential. Essential. They're up there with food and water. One of these little things. Water. Again, even if you live in a flat, I've got ideas, of how you can harness water. It's very crude, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Without water, you're dead. It's as simple as that. The missus was moaning. That's what they do, mate. It's like, we don't moan. Not really, They like to moan. They do like to moan. God gave them a mouth just to moan. Moan and eat, I think. No offense, ladies. Don't start kicking the shit out of me in the chat. I'm only joking. I love you, really. Should I? Hello, fellow seekers of deep knowledge and truth. Well, that's a profound thing to say, Michael. The missus was moaning about the tap water tasting funny a month or so ago and started drinking bottled water. You see, going from a tap to bottled water is like going from a tap to a tap. You've got to clean that water. You've got to clean that water, because bottled water comes in plastic, No one knows how long that water's been sat in that bottle in some fucking warehouse somewhere. No one knows, The amount of microplastics that's in plastic bottles, I mean, your Sawyer Minis, they come with it's either a litre or a 2 litre like foldable bottle, right? But the Sawyer Mini filters out microplastics, so it's not a problem. You attach it to the bottle and then drink out the top through the straw. You've got a straw with it. It'll all make sense. Sawyer Mini, look it up. But I sent off. So it comes with a bottle, but I've sent off for another bottle as well. And you want bottles that are BPA free. It's the BPA that leaches into your water. Fuck off. Speaking of water, another thing you can do that I recommend to anyone that's got a Berkey. I know a lot of you haven't got one, but I know that quite a lot of you have got one, right? Now, just be careful of where you get your filters from, because there was all of a sudden there was a lot of fake filters getting into the market made in China. China's a right fucking bastard for fake shit. You know, they're pumping the silver market full of fake coins, and the bastards. You know, Temu have got their own version of a Sawyer Mini. Don't go anywhere near it. Don't buy one. Buy a Sawyer Mini. So if you've got a Berkey filter, I've got 8 filters. I've not used the ones I've got. The ones that I've got in are no longer any use because I did do a test. Let me catch on the chat on this first. I wouldn't feel safe drinking tap water, but boiling the water first will help in the meantime. But it won't. It won't, because but just boiling it won't get rid of the. It won't get rid of any of the chemicals. You know, you're just boiling the chemicals and then waiting for it to cool down and then drinking the chemicals. Especially the fluoride. The fluoride will stay put. That's not going nowhere. You know, even a Sawyer Mini won't get rid of that. Definitely, Jordan, more expensive than I'd like, but it's a one-off payment. Just need to get the candles then. I think I've missed something there. Dave, weren't Berkey getting sued for false claims about their filters a short while ago? Berkey's were modelled on the Berkeyfield, which actually came before it, and Berkeyfield is half the cost too. Yeah, I've got the British one, and I know for a fact that these are the real deal. But if you ended up with a flood, right, or a mud flood, and you needed to try and, if you survive it, you're going to need to get access to good, clean drinking water, which is going to be impossible. So if you've got a Berkey, for example, and you've got Berkey filters that have been packed down and then put in a cupboard somewhere, so that even if all that happens, it's still going to be in that cupboard, you know? And if you can access your Berkey and your filters, take some rancid water, try and filter it as much as you can using something like, you know, some cloth or anything clean, something you're wearing, anything like that. And then put that in the top of the Berkey. Try and clean it out as much as you can. Put that in the top of the Berkey. With these Berkey filters, you'll get clean water coming out the top, out the bottom, and then put that clean water in the top and flush it out, flush it out, flush it out, and then clean the filters off. And then eventually you'll have clean water for a couple of months whilst you're trying to figure shit out. You know, protect these. Where are we? Let me just make sure that I've read that top one there, because I can only see half of it with the upside down face. I have a couple of Life straws. Life straws are all right. They're all right. It's just, yeah, you know, they're not as good as a Sawyer, but they're all right. You know, it's better than none. It's better than none at all. And what really pissed me off about Neil McCoy Ward is he was selling the same Life straws or a slightly cheaper version of them for 3 times of what you would pay for a proper Life straw. He was also selling those emergency blankets, or trying to push these emergency blankets. This is what I'm saying. I fucking can't stand the guy. I can't stand the guy. He's the king of grifters. He's a cunt. He's a cunt. You know, I know a lot of people don't like that word, but that's what he is. He's a cunt. I'm still subscribed to him because I do think some of the information is, the way he correlates it, it's good. But it's like he builds everyone up, right? It's like, he's scared enough. He's scared enough now. Join one of my courses, you know, or you'll fucking die. That's how it feels to some people. And he was selling these exactly the same emergency blankets for 4 times what these are worth. Playing on people's fears. I'd never do that. I would never do that. He's a grifter. He's a fucking grifter. Anyway, if in an area where tap water is fluoridated, then boiling first makes the fluoride in it worse. Just a heads up in case you are in a fluoride. Yeah, see what I mean? But boiling doesn't do jack really. All it does is kill bacteria, but you're not going to get much bacteria in your water anyway, unless you've not cleaned your. I don't know why I'm doing that. Looks sordid. If you clean inside your, that's even worse. Inside your faucet, that's worse. You can get a buildup of like black stuff, you know, and that black stuff can end up giving you, oh man, what's it called? You can get it in dirty swimming pools and hot tubs that haven't been cleaned. It's a really, really nasty one, really bad. A potential killer, you know. If you get it, you are looking at hospitalization unless you get adequate care. It'll come to me unless someone points it out for me, which I hope to do. I have the Newton filter. It's the same as the British Berkey, but a bit cheaper. Shame on me. I wish I had bought the British version. Mate, do you know what? Just buy one of those. You know that I did a little short video, and I'm fairly sure you saw it, where you can test your water for parts per million, right? Just buy one of them. They're only £5. I'll just get it. I'll just get it just to show you, so you know what you're looking for. If this is the cheapest one and it does the job, you'll know whether or not that those filters that you've got are working then, and that will give you peace of mind. And peace of mind is everything. I'm worth it. Oh dear. Yeah. Really simple. It's about 5-6 quid. It wasn't expensive. It looks like that. And you just put that end in your water, you know, and it'll tell you how many parts per million you've got of garbage in your water. Again, distillers, you can buy them on grid and off grid. I'm using my on grid one at the moment, which uses electricity. It's like boiling your kettle for a couple of hours, you know, which isn't ideal. But I have got an off-grid one as well, which is probably a little bit too big. I'm thinking about selling that and getting a smaller one, so I can use that on my little fire pit in my garden, you know, and run a little pump off my my solar generator, you know. The British Berkfield has been around since the 1800s. Yeah, but I wonder how good the filters were back then. Be interesting. Got a torch off Temu with an electric lighter on the bottom. Things started smoking from the inside. This is China. This is China for you. It's like, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll just take it home, charge it up, and just use it. It'll be fine. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Don't worry. Oh dear. You sound pretty organised. Takes time, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Yeah, I've life straws for each of us. Those Puritabs. Watch tons of prepping videos to get ideas of the essentials to stock up on. Yeah, I mean, I think I wish I'd sort of done playlists with all the videos that I put out over the years, just to make things a little bit easier to look at. And I just haven't. it's just not been that sort of channel. It's very organic. It's just like, here's a video, you know, and then a little while later, here's another video. They're just very ad hoc. But if you do go in the playlist section, I do put stuff in there for mental health, mindfulness, music, gardening tips, all sorts of stuff in there. So every now and then I just have a look in the playlist section. You might find some really interesting stuff in there, stuff that's impressed me, you know, and I'm quite difficult to impress. But yeah, you're on track. Is it, Tracy? I do apologise, Sky Girl, if I'm wrong. Oh, and let me just catch up on this first. I don't want to fall behind now because I can't have a late one tonight because I've got to be up early in the morning. I didn't know that Lana. Thanks for the head up. Yeah, you know, it makes all the difference, brother, and we're all here to share information and help each other out where we can, you know. You will never look back. Solid. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It takes a while to get the broader picture on prepping. I started around halfway through last year. You see, you're brand new to it still, Dave. I love that. You know, and thank God you've joined a very interactive channel that's very, very, very proper into prepping. You know, that looks beyond the other side of this hill and then some. You know. I need to sort my preps out. They're all over the place, and the emergency bags need sorting out too. Just take half a day, set half a day aside, you know, and crack on. You'll be good to go. You'll be all right. Legionella, I think we clean out. Legionella, no, it's another one. We clean out taps very regularly after finding black gunk on the tap heads. Yeah, exactly. That's why when I was going like that, you know, it just didn't look right. But let me just try and find out what the next, because it's bugging me now. Let me just make sure no one else has put it. No. Let me just find out what it is. Dangerous waterborne diseases in swimming pools and drinking water. There's a protozoa. You get both ends. E. coli. Legionnaires disease. Severe pneumonia caused by breathing in mist from contaminated hot tubs or plumbing. And pneumonia scars your lungs permanently if it's bad enough. So even when you get over it, you're never really over it. Your lung capacity is diminished permanently. Scarring. Where am I? The momentum is building. Hold on to your hats and stay grounded. Yeah, absolutely. That's great advice. That is, Michael. Absolutely spot on, mate. Because, you know, I don't know what any of you guys have experienced in your lives. No idea whatsoever. You know, I know a little bit about some of you, and I know some of the big stuff that's happened to some of you. You know, but this year is going to test you. It really is. But again, just don't allow just have faith in yourself. Have faith in yourself. Not out there. Don't have any faith out there. It belongs here. Here. I've got the long black Berkey filters, but I'm thinking I got them from the site itself. Bit worried because yours are white. There are two different types. There's one that's like the dog's bollocks. It stops chemicals, you know, including fluoride. But not all of them do that. Some of them just stop bacteria and stuff like that. So they're kind of, the black ones are sort of charcoal based. Charcoal's really, really good for fucking bacteria up. But again, you know, you can make your own. You can make your own charcoal. Making your own charcoal is a piece of piss. It's so easy, so easy. And then you can make your own water filters. So it's charcoal at the bottom, then sand, then gravel, more or less. You know, just put water in the top. By the time it comes out the bottom, I would still boil it, but you know, you're good to go. Charcoal, charcoal, charcoal. Brilliant Chinese accent. Yeah, I thought it was all right. Nothing wrong with it. Did I tell you about the Chinese place down the road? There's two. Got one over there, got one down there. That one's within walking distance, but everything just tastes of salt. Right? Don't use that anymore. But Juan, impressive food, impressive Chinese food. Juan. Again, on first name terms with him. His surname's King. Huang King. And then Lana's just put Juan. Stashing batteries. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? That she's put Juan. That's a very, very fucked up, bizarre synchronicity there, Lana. And I just realised just how wizardy I looked just for a second there. Don't worry. You're not going to wake up looking like a frog. Juan, stashing batteries, make sure that you have some of the ones for your car key fob, especially. I've got loads of them, loads. I think there's about 6 or 7 different types, because not only have you got the different sort of diameter, I shouldn't do that. No need for that. None. You've got different diameters, but then you've got different thicknesses as well. So some are dead thin and some are a little bit thicker. So get them all. Lithium is preferable. Especially the card key type, no working battery, then it won't turn off the immobilizer and you're going nowhere. Yeah, I had that problem with my RAVs. I don't have that problem with this car. Yeah, as long as you can start it, because sometimes the fob won't work and I can't figure out how to get into it. I need to look on, and it's sad, but I'm honest. I need to look at a YouTube video or two on how to get into an Audi, what car I've got, key fob, to figure out how the fuck to change the battery, because sometimes it'll lock the car remotely and sometimes it won't. I have to go and do it manually. Legionella bacillus is Legionnaires. Oh, Dave, you posh bastard. You posh bastard. I like it when people go, actually, Terry, I think you'll find the full scientific name for this is Legionella bacillus. You know? I like that, mate. Chinese New Year, we are in Fire Horse 2026, the year of chaos. Yeah. It's mad how there's lots and lots of really, really biblical things and traditional things and all of these things, you know, they've all got origins. They've all got origins. They all came from somewhere. You know, probably astrology. But again, does space exist? Or do we have a firmament, right, that gives us information with certain lights going across in certain formations? And who knows? I've never been up there, and neither have you. We just don't know. You know, flat Earth, round Earth, space, no space, an illusion, real, fuck knows. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. So you sound like a Chinese person with a lisp. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. That's a Chinese man trying to get by in Greece. Wong. Talking of salt. Who was talking about salt? I watched a great vid on the medicinal properties of seawater. It has to be treated so clean, but apparently great for curing all kinds of stuff. Can't remember the channel though. Well, that's useful. I'm just fucking with you, mate. Yeah, seawater is good for you, but then part of that could be the fact that look, that the whole earthing thing and the whole grounding thing is very, very real. We've got actual scientific instruments that makes it literally measurable. It can be measurable. You can measure it, the difference it makes, your connection with the earth, right? So why would that be any different with the sea? You know? I mean, I've just joined a gym, but it's at a leisure centre where I can, you know, my gym membership allows me to go swimming, but I won't go swimming in there. No chance. It's not happening. Put me in a river, no problem. He's one of them. Put me in a lake or especially the sea, spot on. I'm happy, you know. You put me into a big, massive container full of loads of kids and people with fecal particles. I think is it 1 in every 7 kids pisses in there. You've got piss to contend with, right? Then you've got snot, spit, you know. If you were ever considering yourself to be a little bit concerned about the whole shedding thing, go to a public swimming baths and go and swim in human soup. So yeah, you know, swimming in the sea, you're in direct contact with nature. Direct. It's literally taking your weight. The sea is, you know. But I've heard it's really, really good for psoriasis and all sorts, eczema, athlete's foot. It's mad. The list goes on and on and on. That's nature for you. But one of the downsides about, say, Celtic sea salt, Mediterranean sea salt in particular, is that a lot of it is sourced from areas of ocean where there's a lot of plastic in the seas. A lot, you know. So trying to get good quality kelp, trying to get good quality sea salt, you know, which is why we need to start eating stuff like fenugreek and kimchi to try and get the microplastics out of our body. I should show you like that, how many homemade supplements I take a day, just a day, every day. And that would be separate to the ones that are shop bought. You know, I'm going to try my pipe out. Now, I know you've always been very honest with me in the past. I want you to be very honest with me now. Because Richard Vobe used to do my fucking head in, fucking about halfway through a sentence, right? So if this bugs you, I need you to tell me. I don't want anyone feeling bugged. I've even bought a little leather tobacco pouch. And there's madness, there's method behind that madness, right? I'm growing my own tobacco. Now, I have got shop bought tobacco as well. I've been starting to mix it together, you know. Now I look like a proper hippie, right? So when you're getting backy out of your tobacco pouch, which is in the kitchen, right, and you're messing around in there, there's bits of plastic. You can't even notice bits of plastic going in there, smoking plastic, on top of all the other additives that they put in there because they want to kill you. So I've got a leather pouch. So let me try it's a virgin pipe, look. It's virgin, look. Never been used. Never been used. Does anyone here smoke a pipe or has ever smoked a pipe? Because before I light it up and look a bit more wizardy, right? Does anyone know what this is about? It's not got a hole in the end, and even sort of comes out. I've got absolutely no idea what that's all about. I watched a great video on the medicinal purposes. Sea salt water has to be treated so clean, but apparently great for curing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's amazing. We'll be looking into it more. 2 messages on the trot not posted. Trot not posted. Trot not. 2 messages on the trot not posted. Please elaborate, Dave. Anyone with a water distiller will vouch for the crud that is left inside the distiller after a cycle. It's terrible. Yeah. Do you know what? One of my earliest videos of the Rose Hippie Guy channel, right? I did one full thing and then I put my finger inside and I said, I would love to send that off for analysis. A full compound breakdown of absolutely everything that is on my finger. And I know for a fact, if I did that, I would be shocked. Even though I know what I know I'd be shocked. And people are drinking that, not even thinking about it, giving it to their kids. Yeah, it's got a little Rizzler thing there as well. You just take your Rizzlers out when you need them, you know. Got a little bit there. Put filters in there. Look, there's a little zip back on the. Look, it looks like a purse. Am I getting too in touch with my feminine side? I mean, look at the fucking state of me. If I want for this beard, I would probably look like some sort of Temu tranny, you know. I'm not really happy about that. Right, so here we go. First ever spark up in a pipe. You know, I did the whole bong thing when I was a young'un, you know, but I've never had a pipe. So let's see how this works. Because it's not just a gimmick for a wizard type thing. I'm going to be growing my tobacco from now on forever. And I've got a lot ready to smoke. I've got loads. So if I'm not able to buy Rizzlers, you know, and people who smoke have generally, and this is a scientific fact, lower stress levels. but I don't recommend that you start smoking. But if you do start smoking, maybe grow your own so you've not got any shitty additives in there that are designed to kill you. Oh, shit. I need more of the dried, really dried out stuff. So for now, I'm not going to, I know what I need to do to make it not irritating to you guys. I need to smoke my all pure homegrown tobacco in that pipe. So for now, I'll just roll one. Anyone with a water? Yeah. It's so terrible. It's so terrible. You know, the crap that's left in there, and you can smell the chemicals that's left behind in a distiller. Tracy, have you got the same distiller as I've got? The xXx one, which I think is a generic model, if I'm honest. They just stuck a label on the front of it to make it sound Norwegian and quality, you know, when in actual fact it's just a very basic, straightforward, simple model that people are just putting stickers on there. I think. My first one, I mean, I thought that was identical to my first one, but it's not. My first one didn't have an on-off switch. It just had a reset button on the front. That was it. So you couldn't actually turn it off once you'd started it, unless you turned it off at the mains. Whereas this has got an on-off switch at the back. Because after about 2 weeks of having it, like, it's not working. I've spent nearly 70 quid on this bastard thing, and it's used now. Now I've got an argument ahead of me to send it back, not realizing there was an on-off switch on the back that wasn't on the first one. Yet apart from that, they look identical. So oh, you know, when you put something down and then you can't find it. I've got some more things to show you in a minute. Again, I'm sort of like I'm expanding and evolving with these with these here. I'll explain in a minute. So in relation to keeping your filters dry and sanitized, right, and flood proof, there are other things that you need to do the same with. Let me just roll this bag and I'll show you. And these are sort of evolving because I thought, why don't I put one of them in there? Then I've had to cut it open and then put something else in there, and then I thought about something else and I've cut it open again. And by the time I finished, there's not been enough bag left for me to vac seal it. Excuse me. Oh, very gassy. Have they mentioned a certain family? Who did? Speaking of numbers, here's some trivia. Oh, I like a bit of trivia, Lana. Andrew arrested by 6 cars on his 66th birthday, exactly 666 days after the bloodied horses bolted through London. Wow. There is so much numerology out there. So much. There's definitely something in it. You know? Maybe, you know, is it their calling card? They have to say hello with us, you know? Or is it the universe or something telling us? I don't know. I don't know that I was a big skeptic on the whole numerology thing. I'm not anymore. especially 33. Again, going just very briefly, just going into the Bible again. You know, I'm not a Christian, right? But in the Bible, it goes on about Christ dying at 33, right? And then being resurrected. Now, 3 days later. So the Christos, the seed of enlightenment, travels from the base of your spine all the way up, as long as you stay celibate, all the way up, and it just lifts you into another level of enlightenment, right? The Christos. And there are 33 vertebrae for the Christos. So he died when he was 33. So it's the death and a new beginning. Oh, again, the Bible is so misinterpreted. It really is. So you need clean water after a massive flood or a mud flood or anything like that. You need to be able to get hold of clean water. So I've just given you a solution on how you can do that with a Berkey. Again, you have got off-grid distillers that you can put over fires and do it that way. But other things that you need to keep sterile and protected, because first aid kits aren't waterproof, you know. So I've been making these up and backpacking them down. This is for a small to medium-sized wound, and it's got 4 small patches, and then two large patches. And I don't know if you can make out the large patch. So that's the bit that'll stick on your skin. That's the bit that sticks over the wound. These are the large patches. Then I've got slightly smaller ones. So 2 small patches, 2 large patches, 4 iodine. There, you need to make sure that is properly cleaned. 1 bandage. And 8 paracetamol, just so you've got less pain for at least 2 days. 4 cleaning swabs, which are behind the bandage, and 2 sterile gloves, because you don't want to be if you've got cuts of your own and there's a lot of blood, you don't want their blood in your blood, and plus you don't want to infect the wound whilst you're cleaning it. And you know, it's just an extra barrier, an extra layer of protection for both you and the injured party, right? So that's a small to medium wound. I was going to try and do another more comprehensive backpacked first aid kit for burns, but I didn't have enough time. I ran out of time and I didn't want to be late for this live stream. And then you've got, you know, the most common injury of all is, I cut my finger. Fucking thing, that knife was so sharp. So I've got this little thing, little ear. Finger first aid. So it's got 1 bandage, which is a proper official, it's a proper finger bandage. I don't know if you can make it out through the writing that I've put over the top, which I shouldn't have done. But it says just there, look, finger bandage or finger dressing. So it's got 1 finger dressing, 2 patches that you put underneath the dressing, and then after a while swap it out for a clean one. So you've got 2 in there. Put the first one on initially, then after a day swap it out for a clean one, and then after that just clean it with the iodine and let it breathe so that the scabs have a chance to solidify and heal. Another 8 paracetamol and 2 cleaning swabs. The 2 cleaning swabs would be there to clean the initial cut. Clean the cut, clean it. Iodine, you know, plenty of iodine on there. let it soak into the skin, then put the finger bandage on there, or the patch, put a patch on there onto the cut. Then the finger bandage, and then a couple of paracetamol, all sealed in. I could just leave that in a river or whatever for months and months and months. Pull it out, it'll still be sterile and dry. And the pre-made backpack bags, again, 10 by 15. 10 by 15 doesn't cut it for everything. A 10 by 15 certainly wouldn't have cut it for that, you know. I need to try and see if I can fit 2 walkie-talkies, or a walkie-talkie and a charger in one of that size, and a walkie-talkie and a charger into another one of that size. That's next on my list. But yeah, completely clean and away from any contaminants, and completely waterproof, and just stack them away. It's just common sense. So if you've not got a backpacking machine, I need to buy another one, because this is my second one. That first one had a lot of fucking use, a lot. And these things aren't designed to last forever. And I see backpacking machines as very, very, very vital for prepping. Let me show you the model of one that I've got, so you can, because it's probably the cheapest on the market. I kept the old one that fucked up on me for parts. But 1 is none, 2 is 1. And this is one of the most common ones on eBay and Amazon. It's one of the most common ones you can find. And, you know, at the end of the day, if it does the job, then it does the job. And that's mine. It's a very, very basic one. Very basic. But it does the job. It just sucks all the air out and seals it. Or you can just seal them. I've got a feeling I'm going to end up with a lot of shit around me that I've got to clean up in the morning. Try and get organised again. Anything I smoked in a pipe is weed and DMT. Rock and roll, mate. Rock and roll. None of my tobacco plants lasted. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jordan. I don't know what to say, because mine, having said that, I have lost some and I don't know why. I don't really want to pick the laptop up and take him into the kitchen, but out of all of the ones that I brought in, I've got 5. I think I brought about 10 in. I've got 5 that are still going. And even then, some of them have stayed very, very small, you know. But I'll tell you what I'll do for you, Jordan, is I will I'll send you some seeds on me for free, you know, so you can plant some of your own up. And I won't send you any amber leaf. I'll send you the dog's bollocks. Seeds that I've not grown myself yet, but they are good, from a good source. And I'll send you. Send me your address via email again, Jordan, because I've done a big clear out of the Proton email address that's attached to the Rose Hippie Guy channel. I had a massive clear out. It was just for a free Proton email account, you're only allowed up to a certain amount of like megabytes or gigabytes or whatever it is, you know, before you have to pay. So yeah, if you can email me your address again, and I'll send you some seeds in the post, and you can crack on, mate. And I think you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Grow your own. Sending stuff, any plants in the post has been an absolute nightmare for me. A nightmare. Everyone that's received them has received them in a very obliterated manner, you know. Where are we? I've got a bit behind. Not too far behind though, which is nice. Makes a refreshing change. Still on it. Only thing I've smoked, yeah. None of my tobacco plants. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that, mate. Because I feel like I've ripped you off, you know. But it's just the look of the draw, really, when it comes to sending. It's the look of the draw with tobacco plants anyway, which is why it's good when you've got one that produces seeds. You know, you've got thousands, well, hundreds and hundreds of seeds then. It's like ants. An ant's nest. A queen will just produce so many ants because if half of the, you know, if they lost like 100 ants, it won't make any difference to the colony because they're overproduced because there are that many casualties, you know. And I think the same applies to tobacco seeds and tobacco plants. So, but yeah, Jordan, I'll send you some in the post, mate. Send me your address, and I'll send them ASAP. And then you can start getting them going, you know. Because even though I've got 5 plants still going. Got all that tobacco, organic tobacco, homegrown, and I think Michael can appreciate where I'm coming from because Michael's doing the same. In fact, that's the point. Lana, how are you getting on? Are any of yours still alive? Because I think I sent some up to you, didn't I? It's a carbon filter in your pipe. If it's removable, you can replace it. A carbon filter. It doesn't look like there's any carbon in it though. It doesn't look like there's anything in it at all. Just metal. It makes no sense. But thanks, Michael. I will investigate it further. I buy a box of 100 packs of rolling papers from Amazon. I did the same. Jordan. But the way I'm thinking is that, like, long term, you know, I don't ever want to stop smoking. But I would like to cut down on smoking. So cutting down on smoking and then only smoking stuff that you've grown that's got no additives, you know. Then you know what you know what's what, and a pipe looked after could last me for the rest of my life. No Rizzlers. I did buy 2 other pipes when I was slightly tipsy one evening, and when they arrived, I was rather surprised, but then not surprised at the price that I paid for them. And these pipes were that big, huh? Because you would have got the heat straight away. Check this out for a pipe. I kept this from the old days, years and years and years ago, and I found it out in an old box. An old box when I was going through some stuff in the wardrobe. I don't even know if it still works. But back in the early 90s, this was the dog bollocks. In the early 90s, like 93, 94. Something like that. You put your back in there or whatever you're into. And then underneath, it comes in 3 sections. And then there's like a little very, very, very intricate little like that. So by the time it gets to this end, which is the side you pull on, the smoke's cooled down. It's a genius little, and it can fit in your like little credit card section of your wallet. So yeah, amazing, really. And this was part of today's delivery from Temu. And I've never come across this feature on. I've got a lot of head torches, and being an avid camper in the past and a wild camper, you know, I've always made sure that I've got some decent gear, right? So I've always had head torches because, especially while camping, it's nice to keep your hands free, especially if you're arriving on site late in the middle of nowhere. You know, there's no lights, there's no going up to someone's house and going, "Can you turn the lights on?" Can't see a fucking thing. You know, you're lucky if you've got moonlight. So I've got loads of head torches, but I've never ever come across one with this feature before, which really, really impressed me. And let me just catch up. Let me just catch up on the chat first. I do apologise. Right. None of my tobacco plants. It's a carbon filter in your pipe. Yeah. I buy a box. Yeah. I bought a twin pack of soya minis off Amazon last August for £40.43. Not sure if they still have that offer. That's a really good offer, that is, Sky Girl. Really good, because they are going up. You know, but just please don't buy the Temu version. Trusted sources, especially when it comes to water. You can't fuck about with water. You really can't. I love those iodine and alcohol swab things. Been buying butterfly stitches too. Yeah, I need to get more butterfly stitches in. My first aid equipment and bits and bobs is phenomenal now. To the point where I've even got you know, the one, if you see someone that's like having anaphylactic shock, what's it called? You just stick them in the leg. I've even got them. I've got tourniquets. I've got chest cavity puncture wound covers. I've got, you won't believe what I've got. You won't believe what I've got, you know, because this is how I am. I'm thinking beyond hospitals, beyond GPs, beyond dentists, beyond vets, you know, beyond all of that, to become as little reliant on the system as possible. And they are trying absolutely everything as much as possible to keep you in the system. Yeah, that's nice. That is. I love those iodine. Yeah, they're great. I've got shitloads of them now, and they're going to go in every single one of these. Every single one of these, because they're antibacterial and antifungal. You know, so you're giving your cuts a really, really good head start for healing. You know, and again, these little iodine things here, it's you can use them as a really, really good benchmark of how depleted your iodine is in your body. So if you break one of them open, and if you own any of these, you'll know how they work. You snap the end, and the cotton bud fills with the iodine, and you just basically put it on your skin. Even if you've not got a cut, put it on your skin, rub it in, and if it absorbs almost straight away, then you're deficient, you know. Right, so I agree that the Bible has been altered and it's open to interpretation, but the Christ is the real deal. I do think Jesus probably existed, but I don't think he had a surname like Christ. You know, I think that's got something to do with the Christos. I think he discovered the Christos. He discovered a lot of things and realized a lot of things. I think he was probably way ahead of his time. A very, very wise man, very, very in tune with himself, in tune with nature, in tune with, you know, everything. Just a really, really wise, clever man. And he started to understand all of these things. So he would have stood out. He would have stood out. Like people were like, you know, this guy's off his head. He's well different, but it makes sense. He's making sense. You know? So he got a few followers and stuff like that. I think that was probably the limit. No offense to any Christians, but I think that was about the limit. I think he was, if he was around, which is highly likely, I do think he was just a very, very smart man that was in touch. He was connected with the world and with himself. So maybe he figured out the whole 33 vertebrae thing and reached that level of enlightenment. Or maybe he just didn't exist at all and it's just, again, open to interpretation. It's been messed around with so many times. But the Christ is the real deal, the only spirit entity that ever materialized into our reality, and he explained many things. Exactly, yeah, he was a teacher. He was a teacher. Again, you know, I don't follow any man, none, right? I follow myself. But that doesn't mean that I don't listen to what other people have got to say. You know, you can be really, really inspired by people and good advice and listening to what they've got to say, especially if it's based on experience, you know? But if there's a really, really good teacher, then I'll listen. It's like martial arts. I didn't have any like proper skills. I was a grappler. Once I've got you on the floor, you're mine, you know? And plus I only ever fought when I lost my temper. So rage. So no self-control. So going to that particular club and having that particular instructor changed everything. It's all about the teacher. Just my opinion. It's a good opinion though, Michael. I like it. I like the way you're thinking. Starting with 2, you only need to double 33 times to get to 8.5 billion. Yeah, but is there 8.5 billion in the world? Is there? You know, there's a lot of people out there that have come up with some really, really, really good ways of trying to figure it out mathematically, and it's nowhere near that. Nowhere near it. Yeah, you know, we're just surrounded by lies, absolute lies on a daily basis. Yes, it would, Dave. It would, but it might be a bit more challenging. With Mylar pouches, you are better off with oxygen absorbers, which are quite expensive, and then some hair tongs. I don't know why I'm doing that. Get some hair tongs on it, and that'll be it. You know, but I never really went down the Mylar route because I knew that most of the people that were going to be watching the channel we're going to be feeling the pinch, and Mylar's not cheap, you know, and neither are oxygen absorbers. They're both quite expensive, but it should work. I'm looking to source a certain type of seed after SHTF. My brother's mate should be able to get me a selection. Yeah, well, you can get whatever you want these days, mate, you know, but make sure you get some decent seeds. You need a female plant. If I'm reading you right. Should be a fantastic trading item as well as personal. Absolutely, mate. For the record, there was something I'd lost about 2 years ago, right? Whoa. That I'd managed to get my hands on, that would be a great, very, 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 very highly sought after bartering item that I won't go into detail about. And back then I had a few more quid on my hands, you know, and yeah, it's about 200 quid's worth. I had no idea where it was until today. So all for barter, you know. If you want to pass on any of those special seeds, Dave. Much appreciated. I don't have room to bring my plants in time. Brought one in. Oh right, okay, right. So it was the cold that fucked them up. Is that right, Jordan? But I will send you some seeds, my friend. I will. I've got plenty of them. I've forgotten what the name is, but it's American. Pack sealers don't normally work on Mylar because the bags are smooth and untextured. That's a good point, that is, Lana. I've never given it a try. I was just thinking about it theoretically, and it worked in my head. But you've got a really, really good point there. Very good point. Yeah. So you are looking at oxygen absorbers, and then, but then you can use these. You can use these just to seal. There's an option to vacuum and seal, or just seal. You know, so it's still useful. I would still recommend you buy one. They're about 15 quid, something like that. I don't think they've gone up much since I bought mine. But I do need to buy another one, because if that conks out on me, it's an integral part of my prepping plans, you know. Cut the top of the backpack and place it inside the Mylar one, and then it works. That's a great idea. I hope you've just read that, Dave, Jordan, or I forgot who it was, Jordan or Dave. In regards to making Mylar work with these backpack sealers, you could just buy the bags and then put the Mylar inside the backpack bag, and it will still suck all the air out and seal the Mylar bag as well, if it's positioned properly. 3 have survived. Oh, I'm so glad, Lana. Right, so out of the, I think it was, I'm not sure, was it 12 that I sent you? So I sent Lana 12 and 3 have survived. If I can't source some, I'm happy to share, Michael. Oh, that's lovely. If you two want to get a room, only joking, if you two want to get in contact with each other and you're both consenting, use me as a, you know, a happy medium for you to exchange email addresses. I'm more than happy to do that. I've always said that if anyone ever wants to get in contact with anyone and you're both consenting, you know, just let me know, and then just email me. Both of you email me, and I'll get you in touch with each other. So it's just not, you know, it's not public, you know. If I can source some, I'm happy to share, Michael. See, I could have sourced some, but the person I would have been able to source some from, we've had a bit of a fallout. So, did you germinate any of those tobacco seeds yet from your plants to see if they are viable, Terry? I haven't, Michael, but it's been something that's been on my mind every day. And the fact that none of the other plants, other than the one that you gave me, none of them have produced a flower or a seed pod, apart from the one you gave me. And that was left to grow outside. So it must have, like, you know, it must have been, I don't know, it must have been pollinated, the flowers, you know, in order for me to get that amount of seeds. I'll show you how many seeds I've got. Again, tobacco forever. And if you put them outside, when it gets nice and warm and we've got past all the frosts, if you get tobacco seeds started off now, and then you stick them outside, and you've got more than one plant, and they both go to flower, at least two go to flower. But then I had one plant from Michael, and that flowered, and then that produced loads of seeds, shitloads of seeds, more than I could ever need. These are a good idea, you know. I've just dropped loads and loads of stuff. So you can keep all your seeds in one place, you know, instead of carrier bags everywhere and packets everywhere. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's my amber leaf from the plant that you gave me, Michael. Plus 2/3 of another one. So tomorrow afternoon, I'll get some of these planted up. I've still got, because you do need, it's not just as simple as putting them in soil, you know. But that's how many seeds I got. And I'm sure Michael can remember how small the seeds are. Very, very small. And this is my American tobacco. There's not much in there. Probably about 100 seeds, something like that. And that's what I'll send to you, Jordan, just to make up for your loss, mate, you know. We just remember that in an SHTF situation, people are going to be screaming for tobacco. And as long as you're very discreet about how you go about doing it, then you're going to be a very, very highly sought after chap or chapess. Just saying. It's one of the ultimate bartering items. Why did it go up like that? Right, I'm back on it. Having a drink tonight, first since Christmas lull. Good on you, mate. I'm having a drink tonight. I thought, you know what, fuck it, because I've got a feeling that Iran's going to be attacked this weekend, and I just feel like something's going to happen this weekend, you know. So I'm thinking, fuck it, you know, why not have a few drinks tonight? I don't drink very often now, you know. But I have still been buying alcohol and putting them into just smaller bottles, and then just sticking them all away as barter items. or as just little thank yous if people can't get hold of alcohol. Again, I'm thinking the long game. These fuckers, these crazy bastards at the top of this pyramid, they've been playing the long game for a very, very, very long time. So we should be doing the same, you know? I want some EpiPens. EpiPens, that's the one. Great for last stand scenario. Yeah, exactly. I've got a couple and I've got some more coming, you know, but they are very difficult to get hold of and they are very expensive. You're looking at about 75 quid for an EpiPen bought privately. It's a lot of money. And they have got a shelf life. So you don't want to be sat there just like, oh, I wish someone would have an anaphylactic shock so I can sort them out. Or even yourself, you know? All that tasty adrenaline. Don't tempt me, mate, to do it live in a live stream and my eyes just going like Kash Patel. Kash Patel, you know, the head of the CIA or FBI or whatever he's meant to be, you know. He always looks like this. Like Cherie Blair, just in a constant state of shock. Like, I can't believe that. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. He's always constantly looking shocked. And he's a fucking moron. You know, all of the Epstein files should have been released at once. And all of the Epstein files that have been released, how do you know they're real? How do you know they've just not been fabricated and they're playing you like a fiddle? You know? Oh, is Sky Girl gone to bed? That was hard to say for some strange reason. Sweet dreams, Tracy. Tracy, have a great weekend. And make sure you do. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. And thank you for spending some time with us. Yeah, I'll get a bit of buffer in as well. It's a nightmare. But yeah, sweet dreams, Sky Girl. Thank you for just stopping by. Thanks for putting my email in there, Michael. If anyone wants to sort of connect with anyone else in the chat, just mention it in the chat and then email me and I'll connect you. I'll be your social hub. I like that. Yeah, so anyway, this head torch is the only torch I've ever come across that's got this feature. And you'll know what that feature is as soon as I do this. SOS in Morse code. So if you are really, really fucked up on some hillside in the dark, you've twisted your ankle, you've gone a bit off piste, like I like to do. I like to make my own paths. You know, I'm all about exploring, you know, and just getting out there. And but when me and Sal used to go hiking up in Kinder Scout and a few of the mountains in the Lake District and stuff, the amount of people that we'd seen being airlifted because they've got hiking trainers on in terrain where you need ankle support, you know, and they just broke their ankle. We can't fucking move. But if that happens at night time, you need to be seen. So if you're quite mangled up, if you've just fallen off a hill or something like that, you know, you just don't know. And all you can do is just move one arm and one hand and just press that and hold it up in the air and just hope someone sees it. But that is ... SOS. And it's the only Morse code that everyone is familiar with. Everyone. ... dash 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 ... and that's got it built into it. You know, never seen that before. Got loads that flash and got like a bit stroby, you know, that would still do the job. But if you see Morse code on the side of a hillside in the middle of the dark, I would work my way up there, you know. Not many people would know their tobacco plants, even if they're looking directly at them. Exactly. They just think, tobacco? Does it? I think, you know, imagine there's got to be someone out there that thinks that there's a factory, you know, a factory. You just go picking fags. There's 20. You know? Oh dear. But unfortunately, you just can't grow them in our climate outside. They need to be brought in, you know, and nurtured. And but even then, you know, I've got one big. I'll show you. Because it's all prepping related. Again, it's the ultimate barter item. So I've got 4 that are about this big. I've got loads that have died for no reason. And this is one that I brought into overwinter. You know, there's no rhyme or reason, really. It doesn't make any sense. Oh. And I had a sign up, right, saying 12 tobacco plants, all organic, blah, 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 grow your own tobacco, no harmful no harmful additives, 100% organic. Call this number. And I had one single call. Now, before I started growing my own tobacco, if I'd have seen a sign like that, especially as a prepper, I'd have jumped on that. I'd have jumped straight on it. But yeah, you know, sometimes these things take time, and sometimes it needs to be the right sort of environment, which is unfortunately like a crisis environment, you know, where people can't get hold of tobacco anymore. Because it just doesn't, as you know, it doesn't grow in this country. It just doesn't grow here. So again, when I thought about growing tobacco for the first time, I was like, you know. And then when Michael gave me one when we were camping, I just made sure I kept it wet and safe. And I nurtured it all the way through that little camping trip. And yeah, and it's provided that hundreds and maybe thousands of seeds. But I do need to make sure that they're viable. But having said that, if you've got seeds, fresh, healthy seeds from a plant, chances are it's going to be viable, you know, otherwise the plant wouldn't have, not all of them are going to be viable, not all of them, you know, even seed outlets that I've got loads and loads of seeds from that I've recommended to you guys, like Yorkshire seeds. You're going to have to, you've got to allow for some losses, you know. And this as well, you know, these I love these. And I bought a USB extension for them because combined they're not. There's not much cable, you know, so you can buy USB male to female extension leads, which is what I did. With their own grow lights. And these are both Brussels sprouts. Never grown them before. And they love it in there. But ideally, you don't want your plants to get all gangly like that, you know? So with this